In this section, we're looking at some equations that have a little more depth to them. It requires more steps to solve them and a little bit more thinking. All right, now I do want to address some of the conceptual questions that are going on here, mainly this one here. So it asks, what mathematical operations are happening to the variable x? Now I want you to notice there are two operators happening here. You have multiplication right here. All right, that x is being multiplied times -1. All right, and then here there's 4 being added, so there's addition going on. A lot of times students see the negative x and they don't realize that that negative sign is a multiplication of -1. So you want to make sure to be careful and recognize that negative x still has multiplication going on. All right, so if I go to solve this equation, I notice that I have a set of parentheses here. All right, now there's two ways that you could deal with parentheses. The first way most students know is to distribute. All right, distribution is a type of multiplication in which you would take this -2 and multiply it throughout the parentheses. Now the other thing that I could do is, because this is multiplication, I could divide to cancel out those parentheses. All right, both of those methods would cause your parentheses to cancel out, and then you wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do that. I'm actually dividing by -2 just to show you what that would look like. Most students would feel more comfortable with the distribution, and that's fine. So when I divide by -2, here I get -2x. Here the -2's cancel out, and you're left with plus 3x minus 4. And here, 4 divided by -2 is -2. So by dividing each term, we have made it possible to go ahead and combine our like terms and not worry about those parentheses. All right, so when I do that, 2x or -2x plus 3x is a positive 1x. And if I add the 4, I get x is positive 2. I'm going to show you here at the side what it looks like with distribution for those of you guys who are more comfortable with distribution. All right, so if I'm distributing, -2 times 3x is -6x. -2 times -4 is a positive 8. If I combine those like terms, 4x minus 6x is -2x. All right, next I would get rid of the addition by subtracting. And then I would divide by -2, and I get x equals 2. So I got the same solution, all right? It just required me more steps, which is fine. It's not a big deal. All right, the other problem that's in this section deals with what are called consecutive integers. All right, so an integer is a counting number, such as 1, 2, 3, but it also includes the negatives, and it includes 0. All right, so there aren't any fractions or parts or decimals. They're the counting numbers, either positive or negative, and 0. All right, now for things to be consecutive, we mean one after the other. So 1, 2, and 3 are consecutive. But if I did like 5, 7, and 8, this isn't consecutive because there's a gap in the numbering system. All right, now that being said, we could ask about consecutive odds, which would be like 5, 7, 9, because it's the odd numbers that are next to each other. Or you could talk about consecutive integers, such as 4, 6, 8, that are even, because 4, 6, and 8 are even numbers that are one after each other. Okay? So in my problem, it says the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 2,346, and we ask what the integers are. And so similarly to the mixture problems, I actually write this out as a number sentence. So I have three numbers being added together to make 2346. Right? Now, I don't know what that first number is. And when we don't know what a number is in algebra, we just put an X there. So then we have to think. To go from the first number to another number, what do we do? Well, from 1 to 2, you have to add 1. All right? So in this case, I'm going to call this X plus 1. And if I wanted to move to the next number, I would add another 1 for a total of 2. And now I have an equation that starts with the number X that I don't know, and then it has the next two digits after it. So in order to solve this, I'm going to start by combining my like terms. So I notice I have three x's there, so I'm going to call that 3x. And the 1 and the 2 combine together to make a 3. And now this is just a two-step equation, right? So I need to undo the addition that's here. Okay, the inverse of addition is subtraction. All right, and then I would divide by 3. Did I make a mistake? I feel like I made a mistake. 2343 divided by 3. Oh, no, I'm good. So I got x equals 781. So 781 is the first number in that list. You need to make sure to list all three of them. So if the first blank was 781, the second blank is that number plus 1, so 782. And the third blank is that number plus 2, so 783. And those would be my three values. Now I do want to address, what if it said consecutive odd integers or consecutive even integers? Well, to hop from odd to odd or from even to even, it hops by 2's instead of 1's. So we would double these values here. All right, so if it was odds, it would still say x plus 2, x plus 4. And if it was evens, it would say x plus 2, x plus 4. And so that's just a little change that would get you to the same boat.